bolt assembly and how to disassemble it. When you take your bolt assembly out of your rifle, it's basically going to look just like this. And we're going to take a look at the different parts of your bolt assembly. The first thing that you have is you have a bolt carrier, which is this large main piece right here with a tube in it. That's called your bolt carrier. Then you have your bolt head, which is this piece right here with the rollers in it. Inside of the bolt head and inside of the bolt carrier, you have what you call the locking piece. Okay, so this is basically what it's going to look like when you pull it out of the rifle. So to disassemble it for cleaning, there's a few simple steps to do this. I've tried to do this by describing it on a web page, but it certainly would be easier with the video, so hopefully this will help. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do is take the bolt head and push it tightly against the bolt carrier. And you just do that just like that. Just push on it. That'll lock your rollers out. They won't be able to push back in very easily. Okay, so once you push your bolt head forward, the next step is to rotate your bolt head counterclockwise 3 clicks, and then your whole bolt head will come off. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3. After the 3rd click, just pull on your bolt head and it comes out. What you have left is your locking piece, and you can see the tip of your firing pin right here. To pull this out, just rotate your locking piece until it pops out. Okay, once it pops out like that, pull the whole set out, and what you have left is a locking piece, firing pin spring. And that just pulls out of the locking piece, and the spring comes off like that. That's all you really have to do to clean the parts of your bolt system. Well, it's just as far as you want to take it down for basic maintenance. Now let's look at putting it back together. Once you're done cleaning everything, you're going to take your firing pin spring, put your spring over your firing pin, insert that inside of the locking piece, just like that. Okay? If you push on the back of it, you'll see the tip of your firing pin come out the front of the locking piece like that. Okay? An important thing to notice is on this locking piece, you're going to see a shoulder that's raised right here. Okay? That shoulder is kind of important for the operation and reassembly. In the face of your bolt carrier, you're going to see an oblong hole right here. Okay? In order for that locking piece to go inside of your bolt head, the shoulder has to go inside of this oblong hole. So we're basically just going to insert this whole assembly right here into the hole in the bolt carrier until it stops. Then we're going to rotate the locking piece until that shoulder goes inside of that oblong hole. Once that happens, okay, push the locking piece tight against the bolt carrier and give it a little half turn and it will hold itself. Okay, for the next step, you're going to notice that there's going to be some windows in the bolt carrier. You have a little window here and you have a little window here. This window right here is what's important. Don't even worry about that one. But we're going to rotate this locking piece until that shoulder is visible in the window. You can see the shoulder right there. Okay? Now you can't see the shoulder. You can see that shoulder going in and out of the window. Once you get that shoulder where it's showing in the window, you can take your bolt head and install it back on to the bolt carrier. One thing to notice is you have this pin right here, and on the other side you have the grooves. You want the pin facing up. It's not facing directly up, it's facing more of an angle like this. Okay, and you insert your bolt head onto your locking piece and you push it until the bolt head seats against the bolt carrier. Next thing you're going to want to do is take your 2 fingers and squeeze the rollers in. When you squeeze the 2 rollers in, it pops the bolt head away from the bolt carrier and puts a little space right here. Once you get it to this point, all you have to do is rotate it clockwise 3 clicks and it'll be ready to put back in the rifle. So let's do that. 1 click, 2 clicks. Now the last click is the hardest click to get because it's under spring tension. The easiest way to rotate that bolt head back into position for me anyway, is if you see this slot right here, you can take a screwdriver and put it in there in that slot and give it a little turn like that, and it'll seat it. But I just take my little 1/8 inch pin punch and stick it in there and just give it that last little turn until it snaps into place. You can also take an adjustable wrench or a crescent wrench or even just a regular open end wrench that fits the bolt head and use that to turn it. Or you can take a sling and wrap it around there and use the sling to turn it if you're out in the field. But once you get it back to this point where these grooves line up with these grooves in the bolt carrier and everything's parallel, then your rifle's ready to, then your bolt system's ready to put back in your rifle. An important thing to note is your rollers have to be in order to do that. If your rollers are popped out like so, you cannot put it back in your rifle. If you mess it up and get it to this point, you can take a tiny screwdriver and insert it into this gap and pry that apart, but it's just easier for me to do it the right way the first time. If it gets messed up, I just pull it back out and just redo it until it gets to that point. That's all there is to reassembling your bolt assembly.